We're going to be talking about the aspect of operations management. It really is where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, in the world of manufacturing. We've had a huge amount of change in the world. We're going to talk about the aspect of the change from having an economy that really derived from 50% of it was based on manufacturing and 50% based upon service. And it's really flipped an awful lot because an awful lot of companies took the manufacturing process and they shipped it into other countries where the labor is far cheaper than it is in the United States. Now we have this economy that is 20% manufacturing and 80% service sector. So you have all that, and really, is the United States moving forward in manufacturing or not? Elon Musk says this: I think there are too many smart people pursuing internet stuff, finance, and law. That's part of the reason we've not seen as much innovation. People are pursuing all kinds of internet stuff in the process, but actually the idea of rolling their sleeves up and creating something new and exciting to actually change the world is actually pushed aside in the process of trying to get rich in some other technology that's going to make us a teeny tiny bit more fun because I created this app that does the following things, but it really doesn't move us forward. I guess if you talk about Elon Musk and the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX and everything from the neural link company he's founded, I guess maybe he's probably the best one to actually make a comment like this. And I think he's probably right in the aspect. So let's talk about some of the stuff where the rubber hits the road and really the aspect of innovation in the world of manufacturing. In 1979, we had 20 million people working here, and now we're just a bit over 12 million, maybe close to 13 million, but it's reduced an awful lot. A lot of technologies change things. So now 80% of that are jobs in the service sector, and we have this 12.8, who knows, maybe a few more or less than that. But the reality is that we really have shrunk away from the aspect of manufacturing. We're pushing those kind of jobs out of the country. And to some extent, we're damaging our own infrastructure and our own ability to function as a nation because we have pushed so much offshore, so to speak, in the process. So that being said, we replaced a lot of the humans with factory robots. You'll see nowadays it's pretty common to have a robot. They even had an article recently in the Wall Street Journal about they have people who have jobs and they're robot cowboys. They have to go round up the robot. Hey, you got robot X543 over here, wander off path. So they actually literally have people that work in some of the factories that go chase down the robots and find out what happened to them. You have a couple robots that just have personalities where they like to wander off and get lost. And so they found this robot over here in production, and over here it's over in this area here. So can you come get your robot? That actually is a job now that they have robot cowboys where humans go chase down the robots and corral them and bring them back to the pen where they belong. You'll be seeing a lot of that. The other part is you'll be seeing different aspects of how we're integrating the human being with the aspect of working with robots on top of that. So we're seeing more of that. Some of the stuff made in the United States, we have a lot of chemicals. It's a huge industry, especially in the pharmaceutical industry. Frankly, we lead the world in these areas over here, then maybe in the cosmetics part too. Computers, electronics, we have a lot of that. Processed food, we probably have way too much processed food. Beverages, tobacco, coffee, cookies, cigarettes, prepared meals. It's a giant industry. Not certain how healthy it is, and a lot of transportation equipment as well. The top 10 manufacturers in the United States, GE is up there. They do a lot of work in aerospace and energy. Whirlpool, and by the way, Whirlpool is not just Whirlpool. Whirlpool has about 5, 6, or 7 brands. It's incredible how many different types of washing machines that actually, by the time you dig deep, or any kind of major appliance, a lot of them are made by Whirlpool. Broadcom, Emerson Electric, Wesco, Rockwell Automation, Diebold, Humble. You'll have a whole series of them all out there making different products that affect us, which is really healthy for us as an economy because every time you buy a product that's made here in the United States, you're helping keep your neighbor employed, maybe just down your street in the process. You have really Tesla, Elon Musk. The goal of the company has always been they want to have a massive number of cars by the year 2030, 20 million produced. That's never happened, but that's their goal. And to do that, they have to put cars in different areas. So the manufacturing plants, they built a recent plant in Germany. It took a long time to get there, but by the time they were all done, they had to do all kinds of different things because it is Germany. They had 7 unexploded bombs from World War II unearthed. Gee, that cost a little bit of a delay. You might say is one of those explosive moments. Okay, and then a few things maybe bombed in the process. You're trying to get that plant up and running. They had a colony of bats. Okay, so therefore they were worried about Tesla becoming a fly-by-night corporation. Had to get the pun in there. Anyhow, so they cleared up forests. They had a lot of different aspects of the German rules and regulations. So now they have the German plant going. They're looking at a Mexico plant. They're seeing a whole series of ones. They have a plan to actually bring Tesla into being a global company to actually sell EVs across planet Earth. We'll see what happens with that because really Tesla is at the forefront of electric vehicles, but we have several Chinese startups recently that have actually gained turf, and actually one of them actually passed Tesla recently in quarter sales. So we'll see what happens in the future. This is becoming a big industry, and you'll see what happens because there's always different things when you expand manufacturing, especially start adapting the manufacturing to other cultures and become a true multinational corporation. American manufacturers, we're competing with China. I'm part of a company. We're looking at the aspect of building an only American product company. And literally, you're looking at the differences of cost, but almost 5 to 6 fold that if you had the same product in China, but didn't have to deal about intellectual property. Will people respect it in another country without an articulated agreement with the United States to sit down there and respect trademarks and patents? You have to worry about all those things if you're in the business of producing a manufactured product. You got to keep up with the latest manufacturing techniques. Make no bones about it. If you're going to compete in the world with China, Germany, South Korea, and India, you're dealing with some of the world's great engineering countries out there, and they have the companies on the inside just cranking stuff out. You deal with some really genius in the process of what they can and they can't do. Service industries, they have to provide a lot of quality care and attention, especially here in the United States, where you'll have all kinds of problems because we really are spoiled as what service should be in the process. So you have production. Production is the creation of finished goods and services using really the 5 factors of production: land, labor, capital, entrepreneurship, and knowledge. But of course, you already know that since we covered that. So production management is all the activities to create goods, and operations management, you really deal a lot when you're dealing inside a factory with inventory management. I'm actually have a class on supply chain management to deal with that, quality control, production scheduling, and also those follow-up service for operations. All 4 of those should be in your notes because this is really the core of an awful lot of operations management. Now we're going to have robots serving us in the process. Hopefully that'll keep up, not the other way around. Hopefully we'll not be in the process of serving the robots. Eventually, who knows what'll happen, clean my shoes type thing. But that being said, right now they're servicing them. But now you can walk into a restaurant, you key in your order, and you don't even have to talk to a human at the counter, and then somebody sits or flips a burger, or is that a robot flipping your burger in the background? Who really is flipping that burger onto the grill, and then who's taking it off and who's putting it on your bun? Are robots doing that yet? When is that going to happen? We'll see really the original services that you're asking for. Now there's different experiments where only AIs are accepting orders of the people at drive-throughs. We'll see what happens in the next 5 years. That may become the standard practice. That free humans up for other jobs that are much more dignified, like flipping burgers. We'll see what happens. So robots, AI, we're going to see changes in the service sector. We're going to see huge changes a lot. We'll look at the operations, also the services you have. When you go into a motel room, we went from having daily service to the rooms. Now we have you check in and you get one-time cleaning. Okay, and if you stay a week, maybe we'll decide to clean your bed and everything else in the process. We'll see what happens in the service sector. But operations management really has changed in hotels. You're looking at in-room internet style and different kinds of office style support as we start blending the aspect of remote working and also living on a regular basis in the world of operations. 80-20 sector, and we're adapting new technology into manufacturing, and that promises growth and less labor costs. If we can do that, maybe the United States can expand that manufacturing back to something higher than 20%. I suspect that's where we're going. I think we're looking at really a lot of automation, especially artificial intelligence and 3D printing, going to make a lot of changes in the next 10 years. We'll see. Take care.